Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is the Phocused Black Podcast. My name is Naseed Gifted, and this is
Dilettante J. Bass.
and we are the Phocused Black Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in each and every week, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we have an exciting episode for you. Today, we're going to be talking about episode 20, the digital diaspora, connecting cultures through technology. Delve into the digital realm where technology bridges the gaps of the African diaspora, fostering unity, preserving heritage, and amplifying voices around the globe in an enlightening podcast. So today we're going to be talking about all of that, and we are super excited about that, man. So, that is a part of all of this that we're getting into today. I'm excited, and we want to just thank everybody once again for tuning in. Help us grow the channel. Please make sure that you do a few things. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Phocused Black Podcast, and thank you for watching each and every week, being loyal, being understanding. So we want to kind of set the stage, and we, in this episode is episode 20. We talk about the digital diaspora. We're talking about the infrastructure, the resources. How we are able to connect the culture and keep the culture going from the motherland. And as I was talking to the brother earlier, to the fatherland over here in the States and every other place that people from the African diaspora has been dropped off to, right? So when we talk about this and the significance that technology plays in a role of preserving culture. So one of the things that, just personal story, I went to a shout out to Dr. O for retiring, doing 20 plus years of service in education. And I went there, and I'm at this retirement ceremony, and I had the honor of being on the stage, with the family, with the chieftains of the tribe. It's so that she's from Yoruba. She's part of the Yoruba tribe. For those who don't know, that's Nigerian. And because she's from that, they were doing a number of traditions. So when I think about that and how Black Americans here in the States are not familiar or connected with the culture that's going on, from the motherland and everything, because we are, more conscious of these things, we have a higher connection to it. But a number of people didn't understand the cultural relevance and, from the language to the dance, to the culture, and the celebration of, being a part of a ceremony that's going on, from a wedding to, in this case, it was a retirement celebration, of, 20 plus years of service to our children here in Newark, New Jersey. So, me being a part of that celebration was super phenomenal and very impactful. But it also got me thinking about, how do we consistently and constantly make this connection between the fatherland and the motherland, but also leveraging technology to be able to do it. Because one of the things when we talk about culture is they strip you of your language, they strip you of, of your culture. And because of those things, you don't have a connection to, who you are, where you're coming from and where you're going, So that's something, that is very significant. But there are some pros in what technology has been able to play a part in being able to keep us connected. Because I think about in the past where we had long distance phone calls, right? And if we couldn't even call down to South Jersey or to another state without having to pay a long distance fee, back in the day. But now with the internet and voice, VoIP, which is voice over internet protocol, you're able to make these calls over the internet, and you could use WhatsApp, and Skype was one of the early technologies where you could just make these long distance calls and stuff like that. Now you can video chat and do all of these different things, at minimum to no cost, because you actually have this technology of the smartphone, which has been a big game changer. But I look at it as a way to be able to make connections to, our culture, our heritage, and then be able to expose people who are not knowledgeable about, who they are, where they come from, to be able to make that connection as well.
Totally agree. I mean, technology, it plays a part on, for example, things like just as simple as videos and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Before, what we had to do to people now doing their own films and movies. But the reason why I brought that up, because in certain countries, like in the conscious community, as we say, they used to show videos on YouTube all the time. And now some of these same videos, people in London, Europe,
Mm-hmm.
all over, they see the same conscious videos. So it's like it created awakening.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for the power of YouTube and this form of technology, majority of these people wouldn't even know who Dr. Sabi is or Seymour's, because I remember, who was that? King Simon or Black Dot or Red Pill Boot. They brought Dr. Sabi before the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
And they use YouTube, these social media platforms. Now everywhere you go, everybody talking about Seymour's.
Yeah.
So
and the health benefits that are associated
so
with it and everything.
So within that, it connected the world, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature, certain ideologies and philosophies. When we talk about African Americans or indigenous or African culture, we seeing things that we didn't used to see before, like certain African dances.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go on YouTube, you can learn, and you can learn how the brothers, the melanated brothers in America is no different from the ones over there, and some of the characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
And we share ideas from recipes to even something simple as images of Africa that's different from what they will construct the narrative.
Yeah, with the media, with the media depicted before, as far as mass media and how they control the image. Because I look at these digital tools as a way to be able to give people access, right? And there's a lot of pros to that, because one of the things, to be able to control people, they strip them of language, they strip them of their culture, and then indoctrinate them with their own, methodologies, through religion, through all of these other things, to be able to use them as a method of control, and use that to colonize a group. But now, with these digital access tools, now you are getting more exposed. I mean, even with back in the day, we would never get movies coming from the continent or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now you have in Ghana, in Nigeria, in South Africa, a boom in their because I know Bollywood is India. I forget exactly what the actual market is called, but they have their own version of Hollywood as well. And then now you got Tubi, who's doing, everybody's having access on Tubi. But, you didn't have access to international films. I didn't even know people were making films the way they were making films, because, here in the States, they don't even, provide exposure to those particular films and those particular projects. Now you're seeing more access to those as well. So that's something that is. But how do we look at that as a way to preserve culture, right? How are we exploring that these digital tools are used to safeguard and promote African culture as well as tradition?
Well, one tool we could use is like virtual like content. The sister that we met in Miami, how they created the what was that? Where you go inside the 3D and you
virtual reality.
Yeah, virtual reality, and they create an historical moments where you could interact, and it creates this historical moment, and we can use that as a time tracker, whereas though we control our own history. So now it's a way for the students, adults, anybody to learn about certain things in this virtual reality world. So it's like within this world, we could have Malcolm X. And then you click go within the world and you see how it was in the Autobahn. Then, like, while you're in there, he's giving speeches, this, that, and the other. So it's like you can follow Malcolm around. So these are ways that we can preserve the culture and history, and we can do that for any historical moment in life. And now it's a teaching tool.
Yeah, it's a teaching tool, and be able to create experience and you be able to be a part of those experiences, something that which is super, super powerful, I think, with regards to virtual reality, AR. I mean, just even having access where you use something like WhatsApp or video chat or Google Meets or any of these platforms to be able to just see what's going on in a particular country, in real time and everything, versus, like I said before, you used to get satellite images or someone else telling you the narrative, but now you could get firsthand experience. And that's why when you have stuff that's going on in the Congo and some of these other countries, they is getting much more attention, because they used to hide those things from us. Like, we weren't conscious of these things. We just thinking that things are just going hunky dory and everything else. But also the development, for over the last 20 years, over in the continent and the motherland, from when we went to Senegal and some of the other countries, where there is a mass movement of development. It's not jungles, it's not huts and everything. You have full exposure to an architectural masterpiece in a number of these countries. And then when you go to Kemet and everything, and the development that goes with all of this stuff, and what they're looking to do in Ghana, as well as Dakar and some of these other cultural centers, man, that's another way to be able to develop and expose, people about preserving the culture, preserving traditions that's going on within, different African traditions. Excuse me.
I mean, I always look at it like this. It's just about telling our story, but also when we talk about closing the gap, like, sometimes we also have issues, because we still run into the issues of infrastructure.
Yep.
Because some of these places in Africa, they don't have the infrastructure as far as electricity keeps shutting down, going on. So these are things you have to think about.
I mean, and then when we talk about internet, internet, Wi-Fi, and everything. So
that, then you also have to say what creates problems is the political structure of a country too. Has an effect.
Yeah,
so we have to, sometimes you have to navigate around that and use the technology to navigate around that. But another way that this technology has brought the world together, and we have to say, is through cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, all these coins where people are able to buy things off each other in different countries without Big Brother looking over you,
I mean, and decentralizing the banking system, so you have to pay foreign exchange fees and everything. You could agree upon whatever the payment is and then use that payment accordingly.
So these are what avenues that brought people together. And then, one of the avenues is the power of music. Like, nothing opened the world up more than music.
Because that's a universal language.
Yeah, so music is the highest form of frequency, just about music. And the ability to be able to watch music videos and YouTube, whatever, all these different channels, music videos, Apple Music, such and such music, Spotify. These things allowed us to listen to artists that we would never hear before, like Afrobeat, P or something like another form of South African, like house music. So these are, believe it or not, bridging the gap of house music. Afrobeat, P house music over here. They starting to bridge that gap, different styles coming together. So these are avenues that the technology has created. It created a whole new lane of or genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
Like the growth of Afrobeat is big.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, and when we talk about, just to, put people on game and everything, uh, yeah, there's five United States that could fit. No, is it five or is it
No, it's seven
seven,
and a
eight,
half.
7.5 United States that could fit in the continent of Africa, right? That's how massive Africa is, from coast to coast, from north to south, from east to west. So understanding that's a number of cultures, that's a number of traditions, that's a number of tribes, number of languages and everything, within the continent and everything. But also just understanding that, millions upon millions of individuals have been dispersed across the African diaspora to the Caribbean, to South America, and to the United States, during the slave trade, the Middle Passage and everything. So, because of that, now, there's been hundreds upon hundreds of years that we have been here in the States for the most part. So there's been a disconnect. But now with technology, we can be able to do a reconnection and talk about fostering unification or fostering emoji, which means unity, So being able to do that, and then how technology can form some level of solidarity, around, these cultural movements, around culture, among the dispersed African communities across the world and everything. So I look at, some of these tools because, I'm looking at the pros right now. We could talk about the cons later. We kind of touched on it when we talk about infrastructure, within some of these particular countries and everything where they don't have the infrastructure to be able to do these things. But the smartphone, and then some of these video chat tools or meeting tools have been able to make a further connection, for people from the, here in the fatherland over to the motherland and everything. How do you feel about, how do we unify and because one of the things that we always say about the Black community is that we need unification, right? And the fact that we are not unified on a number of topics, politically, economically, that's where, I'm trying to look for the right word, that we find difficulty in being able to move forward with our movement.
First we got to first deal in the reality we in, like eliminate the delusion that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And far as us unifying, we got to find a medium that we all can agree upon.
Mm-hmm.
And let that be the point we start from to create this unification. And also understanding that everyone is not going to be on board and be cool with that. So, like, you see it's changing with people emulate the indigenous brothers here and the indigenous brothers and sisters emulating the brothers and sisters over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as we keep what's the word I'm looking for? Don't keep capturing our own moments and creating our own narratives. It will happen slowly but surely. It's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And be open to seeing new things and experiencing new things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then take away the stereotypes because Black Americans and our indigenous Africans, there are certain stereotypes that are being established, or biases that are being created, that are totally untrue, and being able to unify and understand that we are one people, and then that we need to be able to come around and galvanize around all of these particular things that social ills that are affecting our community. I think that is a way that we can leverage technology to begin to kind of do those things and unify, us as a people and everything.
I mean, the thing is, we gotta know what our intentions are. But like you said, the good thing about technology, it provides information that we normally would not have access to. And sometimes we just gotta build off of that. Like it may be something you want to try here, but it's not working here, so you may have to go overseas to Africa. And next thing you know, you blow up. And then vice versa. They may try something here and go over there. And what it did too, the technology, these platforms, it shine light on situations, not just like activist type of situation, but shine light on people's skill set. Like you see some of the dopest fashion coming out of Africa.
Oh yeah.
Some of these guys inventing stuff, scientists, this, that. You know, so that's what this the technology allowed us to see, allow us to touch, see, and understand things that we never usually would be able to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so they're vibrating at a high frequency. Yeah, man. That's the connection that we're able to do.
Another point of one of the greatest impacts the technology has, like Instagram, IG, mainly, and TikTok, it brought the world together as far as exposing certain things we've been taking advantage of. But also, number two, it brought us together as far as traveling.
Yeah,
because I see more people going to Bali than ever before.
Yeah.
People going to Dubai. People going to Africa now, when before they wouldn't go.
Yeah, because the images and the stuff that you've been fed have been a false narrative, you know. But now people are able to show their firsthand experience of, oh, this is not what it is, and this is how it really is. You know, that actually takes the curtain and pull the curtain back on a number of things, you know, from a social political ills that's going on to, you know, the stereotypes.
And, you know, one of the good things, too, about these platforms that be sharing videos and stuff is the comment section.
Yeah.
Because now you may meet, it may be like they talking about what's happening in Congos. And you may saw a video, but there's some people in the comment section that are actually living in the Congos right now. Be like, nah, that ain't true. It ain't happening like that.
Yeah, that's fake news. That's fake news.
Sometimes it can work to our benefit as far as in the movement. Like, for example, what was the guy, Haram Bakram, something like that, in the Congos? It's like, yeah, he's killing little girls and kidnapping them and all that, right? The white people create this story around it.
Is that the... No, that's not butt naked, right?
Nah.
No.
This guy, he was doing all this stuff. And then people responded that's over there. It's about one of them. It was like, man, that dude haven't been around in 5, 6, 7 years, man. They ain't doing that stuff no more, but you had these Caucasians was using that to create wealth or get money off or whatever. But it died in the water due to the fact that social media and the people over there is like, nah, that ain't true.
Yeah. And people are using old narratives to be able to make it seem like it's a current event that's happening. So being able to leverage that is something else too. But, you know, we're just going to pause there. You know, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to, this is the Phocused Black podcast, each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today we are talking about the digital diaspora, you know, discover the power of technology and unifying the African diaspora as we navigate through the digital landscapes of cultural connectivity. So, you know, we're talking about how we're leveraging technology to bring back the culture. You know, everybody's talking about culture and, you know, culture vultures and everything. But a lot of the things that, you know, we've been exposed to, you know, you got to know where you come from so you can know where you're going. So we can move forward in the future. And with the Phocused Black podcast, what we're very animate about is not only exposing, but being able to come up with alternatives and solutions to be able to deal with all of these things. And then also, make sure that people understand, the power of technology and being able to leverage it to do, to be not only do good for you, not only do good for your family, but to improve the quality of life in your community. So that is something that, we're talking about. And right now, I want to kind of get into, uh, amplifying voices, how we can leverage technology to amplify voices, and the role of the digital media in amplifying the voices and stories of the African diaspora. I know a number of shows we talk about Afrofuturism and tech and everything, but I know there is a subgenre that's coming out called African futurism and everything, which is to me the same thing, because I consider our experience all to be a part of the African diaspora. So I don't separate in that, but there is a subgenre of individuals who talk about African futurism and everything. So that is something when we talking about how we amplify voices. How like in we talk about film projects that we haven't ever seen. Earlier, a couple of podcasts back, and if you haven't tuned in, make sure you tuned in. With regards to that, we talk about the animation studio boom. So animation projects that's coming out in South Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and Kenya, and a number of other countries where these areas are booming. So all of these things are coming in this explosion. And then one of the biggest impacts when we talk about is the music, like you were saying. And the music is a universal language, but that music when we get Tim's and Burna Boy and and a whole bunch of other people, even though what you call is from Jersey City, but he's doing a ton. Akon is from Jersey City and Newark area, but he's doing a ton of stuff in Senegal, where you got Akon City, where he's developing a whole city, a futuristic city and everything in Senegal. So, being able to leverage his impact to be able to impact the others back in Senegal and stuff. So that is like just super, super powerful. But that's a way that people are using their platform and using leveraging technology to be able to amplify their voice and everything. So how do you feel about that, and highlighting the role of digital media to be able to amplify voice?
I mean, it's always it's another tool that you can use to your advantage to help you grow your business or help you within finding yourself, So, I mean, it's like we just said, all these tools, they can be a plus, they can be a negative.
Mm-hmm.
They can be a plus as in the sense of you can learn a lot from a lot of these platforms. Like, we got YouTube University. Now you have a lot of schools online.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people doing online programs, testing, all that. So that's the goodness. The good thing about this technology. Allow us to interact and handle business without being in front of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so far as where I see this going, in some ways it's moving forward, in some ways it's going to move back, because like a sensory overload.
Yeah.
And so
and I do see the drawback. I mean, I know we're on YouTube and streaming on different platforms and stuff, but for me, once I'm done with the computer, for the 8-hour workday, I'm done with the computer. Like, I may get on my phone, look at a few things, check a couple of emails or whatever, but I'm not sitting in front of a screen, from the EMF exposure to to all of the other stuff. Like, I'm trying to not be in front of the technology. I'm trying to actually go outside, enjoy the day, do those things, but I also understand the power of these tools, these when we talk about digital media and everything, to be able to leverage that to not only make connections, because I mean, for us, with us doing PBS Media and being able to connect, we have a fan base in in London and got some people from Paris that knows about us, in Senegal and in Ghana. So, a number in Kenya, in Nigeria as well too. But we wouldn't be able to have that international presence if we didn't, leverage these particular tools. And being that everyone can have access to a YouTube university or something like that, I mean, that is a big game changer, for us to be able to develop this content and be able to do that, So that's something that I always see. But I see us uniting and strengthening our, our connection with not only the motherland, but everyone across the African diaspora. Because if you've traveled, and those of you who haven't traveled, will may not be able to relate, but the social ills and everything that's going on in the Black communities all over the world, like I said, it's happening all over the world, and we have shared experiences. And then, being that we have shared experiences, we have shared ways that we could be able to come up with alternatives and solutions. I'm always, solution oriented, with regards to that.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on the head, man. You ain't gotta beat the people too much with it. I mean, they understand fully how to use the internet to draw people from other countries or bring diaspora closer. Also allow us to handle business better.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gotta talk about there's certain industries or certain things we want to buy or support that now we could do to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were certain products that maybe they only sold in Africa. Mm-hmm. Now we have the opportunity, and vice versa. Somebody in Africa have the opportunity to buy X, Y, and Z from whoever. Yeah. So it opened doors of trade and exchange between two cultures. And then what it allowed us to appreciate each culture.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's become a greater appreciation, because of the exposure that you haven't been getting. We've been getting, you get your folk tales from your family if they pass down traditions. But what if that connection never really happened? And then the only exposure that you get was, the exposure from your family from the South, or your family that grew up and lived in the hood, and that's the only perspective that they have.
Yeah. And it's all about, like you said, your perspective. Some people may don't even relate to the Keeblan, what you call Africa. Some people say they just indigenous to this land.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, technology is bridging a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's bridging at fast speeds on some things and slow on others. So, it's always a plus to further educate yourself and understand, and that's my view of it.
Yeah. I mean, just and we don't want to belabor the point and everything.
Yeah.
We want to just be able to talk about how, we're using digital media, digital platforms to be able to amplify voices, to be able to not only talk about the digital diaspora, but to be able to unify and bring, the fatherland and the motherland together. So those particular cultures, traditions, and everything, and being able to see and expose, so where you're going, so where you come from, to see where you're going. And that is something that we want to always speak to. And with that, I think we're going to kind of close out. We do have this Jazen clip that I want to kind of show you. I'll do a shameless plug. And we'll show that, and then we'll come back and close out the show. But we want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in each and every Thursday. Thank you for tuning in each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to close out with our Jazen, and then we'll have some closing remarks. Jazen, the Afrofuturism experience that we're building. We want you to get excited. This is going to be an experience like no other. So, hey, stay tuned in. This is the Futures Black podcast by PBS Media, which is Phocused Black Star Media. What is the Black Star?
My name is Jazen Scott, and I'm a research oncologist. I've dedicated my life to finding a cure for cancer, and my team and I have made a breakthrough. But before we could bring the cure to the public, tragedy struck.
Watch you take my blood from me. Y'all beat my bro illegally in front of his home, his mama's. Yeah.
There was a shootout, and an anti-terrorism squad trooper lost their life. I was close to death when they brought me in for questioning. I was accused of being involved. They wanted information about the shootout, but what they didn't realize was that the cure for cancer costs more than you could imagine. We discovered that the cure was expensive to make, and big pharmaceutical companies would try to charge outrageous prices for it. We wanted to get the cure to the people who needed it, without them having to choose between their lives and finances.
You killed our brother, didn't you?
This Kickstarter campaign is more than just to raise funds for the graphic novel. It's to build an Afrofuturism experience that includes poems that infuse the story with raw emotion, grappling with the bigger picture of social justice, and pushing us to imagine a more equitable future. Thank you for helping to make this dream a reality.
Be a part of the journey and help bring Jazen's story to life in the graphic novel, Jazen, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete, Part 1.
I remember I was starving, don't know how to let go, but I let go.
All right, so that was Jazen, the Afrofuturism experience that's going to be coming soon. We're looking to launch that in October, but we may delay it because we want to do a large campaign around this. So we want to close out, and we wanted to talk about unity and making sure we have solidarity around the digital diaspora. So I want to kind of use this African proverb to kind of close us out. If you want to go quickly, go alone. But if you want to go far, let's go together. So when we talk about solidarity, being able to deal with our social ills and everything that's going on within our community, we need to be able to go together. And with that, well, we're going to close out. I know, Dilettante, you want to have some closing words real quick as we close out for the people.
Today's one of them days I'm just tired. Too early.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, I would just have to say, hey, get some rest, stay focused, and, walk with love.
Oh, you know what? We almost forgot, brother.
What?
We are the main people who talk about this, that they don't show us no love, right? So, this is Thursday, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers who not only take care of their children, who take care of other children, and children are not of their own. We want to make sure we celebrate you and your families, man. Continue to be great. Continue to do the work. And we definitely appreciate you. So happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Because I know there's a whole national holiday that happens. Most people forget about fathers, so make sure.
We're talking about the male species.
Yeah.
Don't claim it if you ain't a man.
Yeah, please. We talking about fathers. We talking about actual fathers here. We're not talking about we ain't gonna get into that. But we're talking about happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Make sure you celebrate. Make sure you get your flowers. Make sure you enjoy and continue to take care and raise those young people, man, because it takes a village to raise a child. So continue to raise that village, be the leader, be the strength, and continue to be great, man. Continue to be great. So with that, we're going to close out. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Phocused Black podcast. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help us grow this channel. And this is the Phocused Black podcast. My name is Naseed Gifted, and this is
Dilettante J. Bass.
And we're going to say peace, peace. And thank you for tuning in once again.